Rubbish title page for Ikari Warriors, as it was incorrectly known. Actually, Ikari Warriors. Everyone in the playground knew that one. So, this is just the trainer options. I'm thinking I need to buy a TZX Duino, because I've got MSX, ZX Spectrums. I've got every Sinclair Spectrum from the plus 3 back to the ZX80. Let's go for a trainer game. I don't know about that. Just want to see the graphics, but yeah, go on then. Endless ammunition. You don't get endless ammunition. Okay, we'll go with that. And that's not even the grenades. Grenades, I understand, they run out. So, yep. Infinite grenades in tanks, yep. Infinite time in the tanks, yep. Be able to run faster over water. No, that's a feature. Invincibility in the tanks, yep. Total invincibility, yes. Music sounds wrong, but I never had this on the C64. I'm sure it sounds different to music on the Amstrad, the melody, not the instrument. I used to play this on my friend's Amstrad. And the graphics were actually nicer, but they're not as smooth as this. There was slowdown. So this isn't really a review. I'm just really checking out this version of the game, which I never had. I had this on the ST or Amiga, I'm not sure which. I thought the tanks were invincible. I said yes to everything, motherfucker. Well, at least my invincibility worked. Hang on, maybe it's just I'm invincible in the tank, so if the tank blows up. So yeah, look, if you go in the water, so you can't shoot them when they're underwater, which is a bit of a fallacy really, if you've ever seen Saving Private Ryan. Not that I'm saying you should watch that rubbish. Don't see much point now because they managed to blow up my tank, so yeah, just sort him out. So again with the turquoise, wherever you see turquoise, it probably should be a shade of grey or light blue or something. In this case, grey would have been nice. I don't remember, you know, that being a thing. You know, turquoise concrete bunkers. I don't really remember that from our history lessons. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, or maybe I wasn't paying attention in Mr. Herzog's class. He definitely would have mentioned that. He talked about all kinds of weird stuff, so I don't know why I lost the tank last time. So yeah, this is really the thing. The trouble is, the Amstrad has got nicer graphic display capability for a static screen, but you can't move them quickly enough. Not for arcade games. I think it's either a 3 or 3.5 megahertz Z80. Yeah, it's a full-on Rambo, isn't it? Can we actually get in this thing? Or do we just blow it up? Well, they've blown it up. I don't think you can get in it, so. Again with a turquoise. So, you know, it's alright. I would have been quite happy with it on the C64. Might not have even, no, I would have said something about the weird turquoise business. It's definitely not my C64. Again, we've got green here. The colour choices are terrible, mate. But other than that, you know what, it's fine. And you can walk over the tanks. So I mean, it's all there. Few weird colour palette choices. And seeing as they're not mixing high res and multicolour bitmaps, I think they could have done better with the colour choices. But you know, even then I could be wrong. If it's using character-based bitmaps for speed, then you know, that's different. You won't really save any more than the 7K difference. And they're using colour RAM anyway. Because you still have to do the you know, user-defined graphics, which take up the same amount of memory as if you're like drawing them on the screen as multicolour bitmaps instead of multicolour character ones. Because there's more than 4 colours on screen. Bit of glitch in there. So that's always been the thing. If your main favourite game is like games that don't really scroll the screen, and when they do, they don't have to be like particularly fast or smooth, then you know, an Amstrad CPC is a better machine for you. Yeah, if you're happy with the sound chip, which was alright. I think it's glitching up because it's trying to draw too many sprites, so it must be multiplexing the sprites. So that we've got grey ground and turquoise and light green fucking building. I'm sure that's the wrong way around. Yeah, this needs a bit of a refresh like Commodore. And these graphics look like something I drew on the fucking basic boot up screen of the C64. So I don't think graphically it's anything special at all. So I'm glad I'm playing it with you know, the trainer option, because I'm never going to play this version. I'm more likely to play the CPC version I played with my friend, because that has nostalgic value. So, but for the kind of games I like, which is like Commando, Ghosts and Goblins, yeah, long play, not really, cheating long play as I like to call it. I've just noticed you've got sprites in the border, top and bottom actually, so it's a bit of a weird one. Programmer and musician are better than the graphic artist, so that's it. But at the end of the day, the reason why I like the C64 better is because it's a better compromise of the hardware capabilities to produce games like Iridium. And on the Atari, that would be my second choice. However, the Atari was not as well programmed as the C64. We were lucky. The ZX Spectrum and the C64, between them, did get some very, very good coding technically. So those games are not really any different to 8-bit console games. Whether they play as well, better or worse is another matter, but that's nothing to do with the hardware. Sadly for the Atari and the Amstrad CPC and the MSX, they were either programmed badly or they got ZX Spectrum ports. Notably on the Amstrad, if it comes up with a 4-colour screen, you know you're fucked. 4-colour mode is the wrong way to go. You should stick to that for the ZX Spectrum. That's a ZX Spectrum hardware limitation. So yeah, I mean, I'm not biased. The Commodore Plus 4 actually has the same hardware scrolling as the C64, but sadly it also has the same 4 colours by 4 by 8 pixel character block, and maybe other restrictions, but I've never quite found a decent, you know, programmer's reference guide to give me the specs and the limitations. So the Plus 4 is halfway between a C64 and an Amstrad CPC, which is fine until you remember that the 264, which is the Commodore Plus 4, identical, minus that crap software built in, everything else is the same, even the look of the machine, was meant to be $80. So even if that was £80 in the UK, that's a machine cheaper than the Spectrum, in some cases better, or almost as, slightly better, sorry, or almost as good as a CPC, graphically, and sonically it's worse. But on the CPU it's exactly the same. 1.75 CPU of the you know, Plus 4 C16 is the same speed as roughly a 3.5 MHz Z80. Although you still got the same awkward screen memory layout, I reckon, because the TED chip, they just copied all the bits from the VIC-2 chips minus the sprites, and you think, well, the sprite hardware in the VIC-2 chip, according to the designer, takes up 75% of the surface area of the chip. So there you go, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed my review.